There's no music for me to dance to. I'm the grooviest. Are you still playing that on your cell phone, damn you?
Yeah, because Restream won't let me.
That's I find that shenanigans. It- I told you, man. Put in that stupid app that I sent you, the clip champ, and turn it into a video and just upload it to your YouTube channel and play it as a freaking thing at the beginning, like a present.
And where would that be on the Restream?
Present is the little thing right there. It says share screen. It's got the you
Oh,
know
okay. Gotcha.
you just
Okay.
play it as that. You can full screen it. You can have it just in the corner. Doesn't fucking matter. Hey, Hungar, hop in here.
Yeah, no shit. The link is in the general tab of the my Discord. I'm actually going to make a live stream link channel just so I can just keep putting it there for people. How you doing, Hungar?
Yes.
What's up, Mercurius? I hope you're doing well, Hungar. It's hard to tell because you never answer my Discords. I mean, I got a call from Brian yesterday. I'm just gonna have to just start calling your ass. Interrupting your quality time. Just to pester you, just to say hi. Especially since little guy's on vacation now, chilling with my family, having a great week. I hope so. I get a lot of people asking about you because they all miss you, and uh,
Yeah.
so
Good.
I'll pass that along. You're having a good old time in Kentucky. I'm a little jealous because I live here in this rat's nest.
The People's Democratic Republic of.
Yes, Justin's always actually a lot of help. And before the show, I
Yeah.
was talking with Dave and George from Emperor's Choice, the producers of Arduin. We got a couple of really big announcements.
I say they should change their company name to those Arduin guys because it's easier to remember.
Mhm. Well, they've had Emperor's Choice for a couple of decades now, putting out different things.
I don't
Um,
care about other people's memory. It's mine. I'm bad at remembering things, and the world should bend to my whim.
I have a feeling you're going to be waiting a good long time for that to
Vengeance will be mine.
manifest itself. Uh, I Please don't tell me they're going to do like DCC did and put out some. Oh dear God, no. Hungar. You've met the guys. You know that is not going to happen. And to be honest, I'll bet you next year it'll either be long gone, just a memory, or it'll be like a whole goddamn year of Pride. You
It won't be
know,
long gone.
one Pride, being the deadliest of sins, not a great look. But if we're gonna go that route, then I think we need a Veterans Month, and then we need a Mother's Month and a Dad's Month. Um, you know, why not? We've got other months, but we don't have months for the people who made this country great. Instead, we get months for the people, you know, who ask for it the loudest. Well, I'm asking, can we get a Veterans Day month? And I'm not a veteran, guys. You guys know that, but people who literally died, so that people can enjoy what we enjoy. Is that too much to ask? You know, those guys literally, put their lives on the line, and we treat them like crap.
Well,
I mean, I get it. A lot of them are where they are for different reasons, but if since I'm just gonna say the 1970s, we did things a little bit different. We wouldn't be looking at the issues we're looking at.
well, I go back a couple of decades more than you, but
Right, but I mean, it was the
my
70s
shirt
when
is brown after all.
I'm just saying when guys were coming home and were being called, baby burners and baby killers, um,
Yeah.
that wasn't right. That wasn't even accurate. And even if it was,
Uh,
um, I guarantee, they weren't enjoying the job.
I don't know. There were some people
Okay, maybe a
broken in that
few were
war.
enjoying the job a little too much, but you know,
But there's always fucked up things that happen.
certainly, absolutely.
Uh, and that war was no exception. It was just caught on camera. That's why it was easy to
Hmm.
make a big deal about.
Yep. So how you doing, man?
Okay. I accidentally introduced our good friend Raven to the world of Anne Rice written novels, and not even the vampire ones.
Oh dear God, why? What were you thinking?
I don't know. That's why in Discord I told you if she asks you about Sleeping Beauty.
I'm sorry. That's fucking so darkly funny. Um,
That
yeah,
is dark.
no,
That is dark.
no. I couldn't make it through an entire reading of Interview with a Vampire. I literally got sick to my stomach. Um, just no thanks.
Okay, so Anne Rice wrote her own version of Sleeping Beauty, and it stops being the story of Sleeping Beauty after the opening scene. Um, the opening scene you can listen to on Audible for free. Prince, what's his face, enters the room where Sleeping Beauty is lying. He remarks on her beauty, cuts off her dress, plays with her boobs for a little bit, then mounts her, which causes her to wake up. And then, from what I remember, he uses her as a sex slave for the rest of the novel.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's erotica.
Yeah, but
But I'm just saying, if Raven isn't already listening because she went to go buy a laptop, uh,
I haven't heard from her all day. I was going to send
yeah,
her the link, but for some weird reason, she's not even in my messenger. Um,
yeah, she said something about going to buy a laptop at Walmart, and
no, but I should just be able to open up Messenger, and she should be like right there, in my group of friends, and it's not there.
it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But when I
Speaking of
told her
which, I
about
got
this book, she told me, "Do you think Shadow will let me pick it?"
is it on first? The first question is it on the Appendix N? No.
No.
Therefore, she's gonna have to wait a year. And knowing her,
She'll
I'm sure
probably
there's
forget.
some
Well,
other
I
shiny
don't
thing will come
know.
along.
I don't know. They might become these books might become her new best friend.
Um, I kind of doubt it.
She seems very interested.
She also seems to read more nonfiction, uh, woo woo UFO Bigfooty shit than anything else.
Yeah.
She couldn't even get to Conan and the Spider God, mind you. The Spider God, like I mean, oh my God, what a disappointment! I was expecting like full on horror stuff.
Yeah.
It was like the weakest encounter with a giant spider in all of known fantasy literature.
This is not true. I've played Conan Exiles. There are plenty of weak encounters with spider.
No, I mean in
spider
literature.
yeah.
You know,
In the
I could
universe.
have written better, and I can't write for shit. You know,
Well, with our Friday classes, or exercises, I should say,
mhm.
you're going to get better at writing through practice.
Yeah. You know, my biggest problem is knowing that I sucked in school when it came to
So
the
what?
rules. The rules. You know, I could use some refreshers, but
There are no fucking rules, man. There are no fucking rules. School
sentence
lied to you.
structure. What?
Sentence structure. No. That's what editors are for.
Oh, okay.
And we got computers to do that now. So don't worry about that.
Who would be interested in a handmade by me Hungar plushie? Hungar, I would take like a half a dozen to a dozen right off the bat.
Well, I'm just saying, handmade plushies by Hungar of Hungar.
Yes,
No two of them will be identical.
that's okay. That's okay. I would
Half of them will be
I would
made out of
literally hang them
skin.
up here. You know, seriously, and of course I'd give one to my dog. Just saying.
Half of them will
Gotta
be
be
made out of
honest.
skin, and it will probably be his own by accident.
It's my dog. You know, I mean, come on, I love the guy, and you know,
Yeah. Well, by the time he
seeing
gets to you, it'll be slightly moldy human jerky. But
yeah, but if you're doing it, Hungar, let me know. I'll send you some cash. And I
yeah.
need to figure out a way to transfer this link to there. Wow.
Well, you just copy it and then paste
Well,
it.
yeah, but I don't have Messenger on this laptop.
So you got to write it out one character at a time.
Yeah, it's
And judging by the way you write on things, it's
actually, you know what? I know how to handle it.
You just text it to yourself.
No, I'm gonna tell George and Dave where I'm sending it.
Tell George and Dave to get a freaking Discord account. They need
They
to
have
have
one.
Then why don't you just send it to their Discord page?
Well, I'm going to do that, but I have to tell them that I'm doing that because they're going to be looking at something else and not see it there.
Okay. In future reference, always tell people to go to the Discord link. It'll make your life easier.
But yeah, so Arduin stuff, good news coming next week. I'll probably have them on either next week or the beginning of the following week. Although maybe we'll just do it next Saturday. We'll see because they're like asses and elbows right now, just cranking shit out for the Arduin thing. Yeah, Hungar, let me know. You know, if you could find like a you know a professional seamstress or something, I guarantee you'd easily sell 100 to 1,000 of those things.
Well, I'm just saying that's what Etsy is for. Handmade knickknacks and paddywhacks, I guess.
Yep.
And they apparently still have good margins or whatever. So.
And folks, just once again, the link is in my Discord under the general tab at the very top. If you guys want to pop in and you know goof off, we are going to talk about medical technology in sci-fi RPGs because I've been thinking about this for a while, and I may have talked about medical technology before, but I think it bears bringing up again to the point that I may even do a two-parter of this because there's some things I know that we haven't talked about. But you know, when you're playing a role-playing game, oh, okay, Hungar, that was quick.
Yeah.
Get a hold of me, man, if you really want to, you know, do that. What?
He's got to start popping in for 10, 15 minutes before taking off, man. Miss seeing your grouchy old face.
Yeah, well, hey, if you're still there, are you doing a show tomorrow? Because Jackie's
Uh,
only going to be in town for.
tomorrow, Monday.
Oh yeah, sorry, Monday. I keep thinking it's
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
It's so weird having my house back to normal with all those interlopers gone. Most of them were okay. There was only one of them that I can't stand, and you know,
Tell me what one. Tell
I'll
us
tell
all.
you off camera because they might watch the show. Um,
That's not
and,
gonna
and it's not that
happen.
I can't stand. It's just that just you know, I'm not I just I like my routine and I like my privacy and I like uh, uh,
Hmm.
you know my routine, like I said, and it was just like they had none. You know what I mean? It was just like whatever, and I'd make food thinking they could be here for dinner, and then they're like, "Oh, we went out to eat." Well, of course you did. I'm like shit. So,
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
but they're nice. They've been friends of the family for over a decade, and it's just after a while, it's just like it made it hard for Jackie and I to just have some quality time and stuff. But now it's all back to normal, and uh, tomorrow's Father's Day, and I don't know if we're having a game or not. I think we will. I hope we do. I'd much rather uh, have a game than go out to eat. Just saying. Uh,
Yeah. Connell canceled his show again because he's going out with his daughter. I guess I don't know.
yeah, I saw that. But that's good. He needs that sort of thing, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Let me see, because George does want to pop in. So let me go over here, do the thing. Did you see the map I posted?
I never look at resources, man.
Okay. Well,
I'll
I.
go over there right now. Hmm. Okay. It's
Nothing to
cultivated.
write, nothing to write home about, but just uh, that's the pirate island that you guys wanted to go to. Um,
Gonna rub it blind and burn it down.
I okay. Good luck. You guys you need to cut loose and whatnot. I get that. Um, and it was cool because like I was drawing it on graph paper and I'm like crap. I should have made it bigger.
Hmm.
For because whatever. I just like that's how I saw it. And I'm like okay. I'm like holy crap. That's tiny. That's freaking tiny. It's literally
That's
the
okay.
map is like 2 inches. So I'm like oh yeah, I can go over to uh, Discord and enlarge the photograph. Hey, what's up, Raven? Um, the link,
Yeah.
if you want to jump in, is in my Discord under General at the very top. Should be able to
Oh.
find it. If not, I don't know what to tell you because I can't send you the link through Messenger because I don't have Messenger on my laptop. But because the
Hey,
picture,
Raven.
because the picture that I actually posted, I actually I read not redrew it, but I added to it because I was as I was enlarging it, I was like, oh shit, I forgot to draw this thing. So I deleted that photo and then re-uploaded a better photo. But now I can just enlarge and go, oh wow, that's I can draw whatever size I want now, right? And not have
You
to
should
worry
get.
about crap like
You should
that.
get one of these.
What is one of those?
This is a draw slate for your computer.
Oh yeah, I was looking for one of those for Jackie because his birthday is next
It's
month.
like $60.
Really? I was looking at something like that last year for his birthday, and it was add a couple of zero or a zero at
Oh,
least.
yeah, you can get really expensive ones that have like built-in displays and stuff.
Hmm.
You don't need that.
No, I
You
don't. I'm not that good an artist whatsoever.
well, no, I'm just like saying professional artists, they get those because it's like a nice bell and whistle, but you don't need it even to be professional. You just have to get the habit of not looking
Yeah,
down
you
when you
send me a
draw.
link. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll do that after the show. Remind me though.
Hmm. Yeah, because you know, with what Jackie's doing, and taking something like that with him to Mexico, while it might get him killed, it would give him,
Hmm.
something to do while he's there. Not like he's not going to be bored or that he's going to be bored. He always has fun there, but I'd rather him take something like that that's brand new than to take his old device that's got all his.
Oh,
You know,
you need a normal computer with that.
You
Yeah,
can't use it with that.
that's not self-contained.
Oh,
That
you can't use it while it's unless it's plugged in.
yeah, it needs to be
Okay, okay,
attached to because
okay.
it
'Cause-
acts like a mouse, just with a finer detail point
Okay,
for
okay.
the
Because he like right now he's got his tablet here, and
yeah
this is what he draws all his stuff on for his videos, and uh, I couldn't do
yeah
that. If I can't use a pen, and he does all these weird tricks and things that are neat, but I'm like you saw my art style. It's
yeah
very very reminiscent of the early gaming art you would see back in the day.
yeah.
A
Well,
ballpoint pen and
you could draw that on the computer. That's why I was saying that, right? And obviously, oh, it's too small. You know,
modern technology is pretty badass.
or oh, I put that line the wrong way. Backspace.
Yeah,
Well, Control Z
yeah.
or
I,
whatever.
I am amazed at what Jackie has showed me uh, as he's drawing and doing things. I'm just like, and when he makes his videos, it's freaking amazing. He's got all these different layers and things going because I took sound engineering classes
Yeah.
a million years ago, and you know, and he's got all this stuff going on, all these sliders and all these different layers of things, and I'm just like, I would literally just go back. If it was me, I would just draw one picture at a time. What I mean? Like the old, cell versions. That's about as, you know.
Well, the good thing about that is it's a lot easier to do that kind of thing where you can like just draw an arm and save it, and just keep reusing it over and over again. Hey, Grandma.
Links in the
The
general tab in Discord if you want to pop in, Grandma.
yeah.
And Grandma, George should be popping in a little bit, or at least I know he's trying.
Five
Guy's
ten
so
minutes.
freaking busy right now, but yeah, modern technology, amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so with medical technology in RPG games, especially because I was thinking about this. When we play fantasy role playing games, which are the elephant in the room. You're not gonna unthrone fantasy role playing games in the role playing game market. It's just not gonna happen. Maybe someday, but right now,
Nanobots. Fuck you, bro. Nanobots.
but when it comes to like the basic mechanic, it's no problem to cure light wounds, right?
Mhm.
Um, it just a no brainer kind of thing. It's just there. Nobody questions it. But over in any sci-fi game, there's nothing. There's bupkis. You get like 1 or 2 points a day from rest. There's no woo 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 thing, like Dr. McCoy had, or even better yet, I think it was Doctor Who, or maybe no, it wasn't. It was Blake Seven, where a guy got his arm like cut, right? And the
Mhm.
girl, she takes out this thing, and I kid you not, it looked just like an old ink blotter, the roly, that sort of half circle thing.
Mhm.
And she just
Mhm.
rubs it, does it over his arm, right? And tries to hide the fact that all the blood and ink and whatever is on the blotter. You know what I mean? And you're magically healed. I kid you not, I laughed out of my chair. You know what I mean? Because that's all they did. It was just the most basic of,
Yeah, they
special
just
effect.
put a sponge over the fucking makeup and removed it. So-
But exactly, Grandma. In our RPGs, there's nothing. There's no. Even TSR did it better in the Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, where this crash spaceship, crashes into a D&D planet. It's covered by rocks, and then stuff starts coming out of it. So the players are hired to go investigate the metal cave, right? And you go in there and you find these hypo sprays, psh, psh, all healed, 2d6 hit points back or whatever it was, right? Hey, squirrel, dude,
yeah, a long time no
everybody has
see.
been asking about you too, man. How you been? Where you been? When you coming back? Everybody misses you, man.
Who killed him?
You want to pop in? The link is in my general Discord tab. Uh, I guarantee you, man, people will be real happy to see you. Hope you're doing well and you're not being worked like a dog. But exactly, Grandma, there should be weird machines or injections or like nanobots or something, and it shouldn't be like ancient technology or alien super science. It should just be like a basic freaking thing. Okay, slap it on. There's a D6 hit points back, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. But yet, no, all the great sci-fi games, it's nothing. Here's how you
Yeah,
heal. You lay in a bed, doctor's care. You get a point or two back every day. What a great way to
that's
stall your game.
medical technology, man. If you're doing sci-fi, it's got to be like a robot doctor, and you're like ripped apart and put back together, and you're like slightly better than you were before. Because
Well, just
while
go
they
by
were in there for that bullet wound, they found that tumor that nobody knew about.
just like good old fashioned Bones McCoy with his little woo woo device. It looked like basically a lipstick,
It
dispenser
was,
with
by the way.
okay with a battery in it. You know what I mean? Don't ask what the battery's for. And you just
Hey,
wave it over.
Raven, that book I saw you about. You're gonna need
Just
one
a
of those
little
lipstick
freaking
fixes.
gadget. In both the original series and next gen, they would just wave that little battery operated wand over your wound, and you're good to go. Obviously, maybe you might need something better for a bullet wound or get stabbed in the gut with a spear. But the bare minimum, the abrasions, the light wounds, stuff like that. There should be something just to keep the game going, so that you're not
Mhm.
like, okay, well, players are thinking, well, I'm at half hit points. I'm going back to the ship.
Well,
Half
how does
hit
that
points in a
happen?
D&D game. Oh, we'll just cure light wounds and continue on, right?
Well, it is a different flavor of game, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have some different things. Yeah, okay. You go back to the ship, but you know you're able to turn around and go back the next day. Where
Right,
if
but
you had to go
you know,
back to town in a fantasy setting,
hmm hmm
uh,
and then
it's
you're
probably
laid
something
up for
magic
like a
couldn't
month.
heal.
That kills the sense of urgency. Anytime you
But
want to impart that, it's
not
gone.
everything has to be urgent, and
No, not
sometimes
everything has to be urgent. You're absolutely correct. But on
and
those,
sometimes you get injured and it fucks up the thing, and that's your fail state, right?
mhm,
You got to let that happen, right?
mhm.
Uh,
but
I,
look
I
at
know
it.
I know you don't like the players to ever lose. It's not good, man. You're too generous. I want at least 3 players characters dead by the end of next session.
Are you volunteering?
If it's my fate, it's my fate.
Right.
If
No,
if Al Bundy needs to die, well, Al Bundy knows people.
but I'm also thinking about it.
Well, he
From
knows
the
one person.
the
He rooms with
the
him.
what about the guys who aren't injured? They decide to go further ahead without the injured folks. You know, uh, now I'm not saying that you just let them heal every single thing just so they can finish the whatever the quest, the adventure, the thing. But you know, it, it it just loses something in comparison, fantasy versus science fiction, and that might be one of the reasons why George and I were talking earlier why fantasy and science fiction don't have the same popularity level because even in a first level D&D game, if you've got one cleric, even if he's only got the one cure light wound a day at first level kind of thing, uh, that makes a big difference to how much further you guys get to play that evening. You know what I'm saying? Versus, okay, well, you're back in town. Everybody's waiting for Fred to heal, and that's going to be a month. Okay, uh, it just takes away from
So your characters are doing stuff in town for a month,
certainly,
and
absolutely.
Fred, the guy that's playing Fred, gets to role play being sick and tired of being stuck in bed all week or all month,
Right,
and
the roll,
then
roll to
if
see how well he did the crossword puzzles and things like that. Sure.
no, you hand him the crossword puzzles and give him demerits for every one thing he gets wrong.
No, absolutely. I did a full series on character death, and especially at low level, it should be more common. And then as you get up there, the death of Boromir was one of the most poignant scenes in the whole freaking you know movie or book series, whichever was your favorite. But that was as a kid when I first read it, I'm like, oh my god, sure the guy was a jerk, but he was our jerk. You know what I mean? And he redeemed himself, but still, it was like it was impactful, and you absolutely need that in role playing games. Otherwise, it just becomes, a never ending, sort of gratuitous, power fantasy for the players at the table, and I don't really want to be a part of that. Um,
That's a lie. You love that.
as I almost took out both Grimm's characters in one roll. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But to make things a little more playable, I don't see
I'm gonna
why
run to bed,
there
squirrel.
couldn't be uh, just a little bit more science fiction in your science fiction and healing. Especially if you look at other games like superhero games or uh, heck, even horror games will sometimes have some sort of thing, some sort of mechanic or widget or artifact or whatever that'll keep you kind of in the game a little
See you
bit
later, Armand.
longer. Because I've had 100 games where the first room of like a dungeon, people are like, okay, we're going back to town,
Yeah, whatever.
and
So what?
it kills especially for people like newbies, who are new to the game and they think it's this one thing, and then they're like, oh, okay, we're going back to town and we're going to be there for a month, and knowing that, okay, during that time, whatever dungeon you were going
I don't
to.
know, man. I think you worry about it too much. Like when I was new, we did that, and I didn't have a problem with it.
Right, but that
Uh,
different mentality of the newbies that are coming into it. You know what I mean? They've
yeah,
heard about this game, for decades. We first heard about it, when I first heard about it, I didn't know, but like 5 people that knew about it. So I went to a game shop. Nobody in the entire school I went to was playing it. We were like we were the group.
don't forget, I'm quite a bit younger than you. Everybody knew what D&D was when I got into it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
figured you'd say something like that.
yeah.
And so you guys had some time to, plus video games. We didn't have any D&D video games or anything like that, or respawns or anything like that. you know uh we did, make up multiple characters, in a session. We would, you know die, make up a new character. 5 minutes later, oh, okay, this guy, wanders into the group, and that sort of,
yeah.
uh
But but then again,
he's
I like actual role playing more than you do.
I don't know about that.
I know about
Sci-fi
that.
liches, aka sci-fi future people, extending
Yeah,
life by using life force of others.
yeah.
Sure, sure.
Or the
Uh,
board.
but simple, something that's, we've seen it. We've seen it in, You know,
So here's this: is the Borg Queen a lich?
it depends on how pedantic and technical you want it. I would say more than likely she's a new thing. You know,
Well, let's just
there's
create undead zombie armies, right?
they don't
They
have to.
can. They don't have to, but they
A
can.
lot of times, the lich will literally want to just be alone to pursue their particular brand of research for power for themselves. Creating an army is often just a means to an end.
Yeah,
You know, they don't revel in the look at my minions. You know, those minions are friggin' nothing. You know, they have
yeah.
no brain. They don't even know they're minions.
But neither do the Borg drones.
I don't know. I don't know enough about them. I thought it was, like this hive,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
mentality thing
yeah,
that they know
yeah.
they're part of the collective and they have, bits of their
Well,
own self.
not bits of their own self. That's all suppressed. The collective is their programming. It's the method of control over their bodies, right?
Well, because I thought when they incorporated new people, those people weren't like, you know,
No, no, it erased them. It just took their intellectual knowledge for information
I need to hold on
technology.
a second. I need to increase your volume for some reason.
What? Yeah. Is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I hit the. There's a volume knob here.
Oh, okay. Um,
Uh,
I thought they had some like their personality was like the equivalent of like a drop of water in a pond, but it was still sort of itself.
there was an episode in Voyager where there was like a dream state that their personalities existed in,
Mhm.
but when the Borg Queen found out about it, she destroyed it because
Oh, what a bitch!
because it's not supposed to exist. They're supposed
Mm,
to be wiped of all unique personality and all that crap. They're just spare parts, like a fucking Frankenstein or whatever,
mhm.
but without the
Or just another cell in the organism.
yeah, just a
Okay,
tool, just a tool to
okay.
the
Because I always had the impression maybe it was because of Hugh or something.
well, like Hugh. That personality was created after they severed him from the link. He didn't remember who he was or anything. They made that name up for him.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one way to do medical technology, though. Turn everybody into undead zombie creatures
Hmm. Hmm. But just for
technologically.
uh, because if you think about it, in most literature and things like that, uh, what you end up with instead is like the Star Wars syndrome, where nobody got wounded.
Well, people did, and they had the bantha tank, right?
Right. I was going to
No,
go into that. That was
well,
out of the first, let's say, six movies. What's up, Doc? Um, there was one instance of any or two instances of real wounding, and folks like Solo and Chewbacca should have been, taking rounds for the team all the damn time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But instead, to keep them from the inevitable hospitalization, because Luke was the whipping boy and it was his job to constantly get beat up versus everybody else, to keep them from that, the stormtroopers just couldn't hit for shit. But in other stuff, people are getting wounded all the time, but they've got to be back on set and back at their station toot sweet or the story is just going to falter and hit that sort of up
yeah. It's gonna
it's a
bog down.
stall. So and the
You
same
could
with
have had some
RPGs.
small wounds. Would have made the world more realistic. You're right. Never thought of
you know
it before.
other than
Because
Kirk,
fuck Star Wars.
well, let's look at Kirk. He got wounded all the damn time. You know what I mean? But they would just woo woo woo, okay, and he's all better, and then he goes back to work. seconds later he's ready for action. Because you can't have that complete dive and momentum of the story. Especially, I get it. It's an hour
Or
TV
you
show,
can, if you're a good writer, you can.
right? But the audience never seemed to want to play along, or somehow that
Wow.
notion was shoved into the idea that come on, we've only got 45 minutes of the show. Let's wrap it up in a bow at the end, so you can't actually have that stuff that you would have in an RPG game, right?
Well, yes, before, like old serial television.
Exactly, Doc. Is shirt budget, yeah. But and mind you, I wouldn't bring this up if we were talking about like playing a game like Recon, a Vietnam role playing game or something like that. No, people are going to die, and you just make up new characters. Suck it up.
Now,
But when you're talking about a
I do want to
fantasy,
address. I want to address this comment that you liked by Doc, what should also be on the show right now, Doc. Um, the Federation worked on an economic system of energy credits dedicated to replicator rations. So as long as they had power to generate, there was no budget for the Federation.
did they
I'm
have
being, but
replicators in the original series?
yeah, they had those food boxes they pulled stuff out of. They just didn't
Maybe,
name them.
maybe, maybe. Well, they had that, but I don't know if that might have just been a different.
No, no. You saw them take their data chips, plug it into the console, then the gate would open up, and there would be a food thing there. So that means it was being selected through a computer program.
Right, but it could have just been an automated system of turntables with TV dinners.
Well,
You know what I mean? We didn't see what was behind the thing. Now, I
I'm,
would like to believe that it was actually some sort of replicator process, as opposed to they've got this big storeroom full of TV dinners behind the little panel.
yeah.
That would still be funny.
If it was a TV dinner, they wouldn't need a freaking data card to select what one they were going to eat either.
Well, no, but maybe that's how they, authorized that it was their turn to get a TV dinner.
Hmm. Federation is not communist. They live in a near post scarcity society.
No,
Not a
I totally
communist.
understand that. That's why I also used other examples of people getting wounded.
Yeah.
Stargate. I never watched this, so I couldn't really go there. And Babylon 5, people rarely
People got
actually
wounded
got
in
injured.
Stargate.
Also,
People got wounded in Babylon 5 as well.
right, and
Uh,
they, as far as I know, they didn't have anything really exciting, in the way of
no.
healing technology.
They had a few like advances. They just weren't like woo woo
Right, and
advances. Well,
it,
except for that one alien device that drained life force from one person and put it into
oh
another.
yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Where Marcus sacrificed himself for
Yeah.
Ivana.
Vanova.
Ivanova, yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
The worst fucking character in the series.
Marcus.
Ivanova,
Oh,
followed by Marcus.
yeah.
I hated both of them. I hated both of them.
Did you ever see Marcus on that the one or several episodes of Third Rock from the Sun?
Not that I remember. It's been so long and I never really watched the show.
Yeah, it was.
I caught the odd episode. Like I know the main guy was always like, and this
Yeah, no,
faculty member
the
was
actor who played Marcus was on one or two episodes. And it was pretty funny.
yeah, and
But
they had a
yeah,
giant
Venture
chip.
Brothers, great example. The super science.
Yeah.
If you think that it's
Super
only going to be,
science.
you know, while plebs like us may never see the super science, damn well they're working on it.
We're clones. What was Dean?
Some,
Dean, we're clones. We're clones, Dean. Yeah.
if
What's the other one's name again? Hank.
Hank and Dean, yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about science fiction in with travel to other planets and incredibly more advanced technology than now. Even if you're playing Twilight, 2300 or Star Frontiers, it's still, easily 100 plus years from now.
I
Okay,
like Altered Carbon, man. I like Altered Carbon.
that was actually I really liked the first series or the first season. Second, not
I
so
really got to
much.
read the books. It's based on a trilogy of
I think it was like 14 or 17 times, Grandma.
for what?
How many times the kids were cloned?
Oh yeah. No, there were fucking tanks of them sitting back there.
Well, there was until season.
Yeah. I know the army, whatever. We tried to sell them to the army, and they ended up
Well, they used the
the
spooky clones
fight
as
off
a, the guild.
the guild. Yeah, that was
But if you're gonna
was that
have,
prom night or whatever.
no, I think it was before that. But if you're gonna have, faster than light travel or sublight or laser guns or all this other stuff, you know damn well that someone's gonna find a way to do something uh, to speed up healing. Some way, in the exact way we could get into, but I think it's kind of a irrelevant from this point. That it just makes sense that you're either going to make better armor, right,
Hmm.
or less
Yeah,
lethal weapons. Everything's like stuns, which is fine. You could easily go that way, especially if you're trying to appeal to children or include children in a thing like this. Okay, usually not the case. So your choices are armor or better healing.
you, you know, you know, when I was thinking about making a role playing game, right? The character creation was the furthest I got, and there was a random chance you would roll up a child as a character. I had the age of your character being a thing you had to roll up, and you could play a freaking newborn baby. Imagine that. You sit around with your party. You're like, I'm two. Because fuck you. Oh. Ah.
Yeah, I watch Isaac Arthur every once in a while myself.
Isaac
Um,
Arthur?
and we could go into the FTL thing later on down the road, but
Oh, the. Okay, I know who Isaac Arthur is now.
yeah, he does some good stuff.
Yeah.
Not everybody's cup of tea, but
I hate his voice, man. I fucking hate his
everybody does.
voice.
Everybody
Everybody,
does, but
everybody
I mean,
does.
think about it. He loves what he wants to do so much that he's risking all kinds of ridicule on a every single episode basis. I mean, the first couple of
Yeah.
months must have been brutal. It's like, "Ugh, I'm still gonna do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can,
Eh,
can,
eh,
can you
you know,
can you do like a what do they call that, an impression?
no, it's been a while since I've
Yeah.
heard him, but I suppose
You're
I
just like,
could.
yeah.
But I'm afraid it would come off, like I don't like the guy, and it's not it at all. I have a lot of respect for someone who pushes
Oh, he knows his fucking stuff.
and he
That
pushes through his, you know, uh, shortcoming
yeah.
uh, because he knows he
It's
knows
useful.
he knows his shit, and he wants to do it despite, I mean, think about it. If this were a decade earlier or two, people would be even more brutal about giving him a hard time about his shortcoming. And
Yeah.
we know people, we have friends that have, I'm not going to say similar shortcomings, but a thing, something that's holding them back, but they still keep doing it. Those are heroes. Those are people. There's something special about those people. They keep trying to do the thing, even though the whole world's probably been telling them don't bother, and they're still out there doing
Mm.
it. See, exactly, Doc. That makes you a good person.
Yeah.
Uh, like I don't hear some of the things Justin says anymore.
Mm.
uh, just fucking
Oh, I'd never give the guy a hard time over it. It's just
yeah, it's immature and just
yeah.
cruel. There's no
you
need for
know
that. You know,
if I were to mock the guy, it'd be over something stupid and meaningless, not
that he said, not how he said it.
yeah.
That's what makes you a good person.
Unless if I ever found out he was faking that voice,
Oh,
then I would start making fun of him over.
oh man,
But
I'd
I'd
throw.
have mad fucking respect though.
I'd still throw a punch him if I ever met him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you made me feel sorry for you a little. Um, but
No, I wouldn't do that. It would be mad respect.
I've done worse. Um, okay, what happened here? There's also a website called Atomic. Well, why don't I just actually highlight it so you guys don't have to listen to me freaking stumble through this shit?
Atomic rocket.
Never,
We should,
never, never heard it or heard of it. Oh, that's nice. I like hearing stuff like that. See, again, medical science, advanced technology. At some point, if you think about it, if you go far enough into your sci-fi futuristic situation, you're literally going to have, I used to call it zap your healed, zap your dead. You know,
yeah.
that is the inevitable progression of science and invention. Eventually you're going to find something, maybe it's a ray, maybe it's a freaking pill, maybe it's a goop you slap on the wound or something, maybe it's nanites, but eventually there's going to be something that's going to you know make you recover from an injury much quicker. And since our sci-fi characters tend to play adventurers or super secret agents working for the government, if they had that crap, they'd be like, okay, here you go. Here's three things, three doses, whatever. So on the mission, if you get injured, we really want you to finish the mission. So
Yeah, it sounds like you just want a sci-fi resurrection spell. God damn it!
no, 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 no.
It sounds that way.
No. I want the uh
Well, I want you dying because for the first time in all of history, somebody electrified a door handle.
actually okay, I'll tell you about that offline.
I've entered a lot of fucking places that have had a lot of security, and not once has there been an electrified door handle, even when the building's been on lockdown.
Right, but think about, like, let's take it back a little bit. In the era of like spy TV shows, you know what I
Spy
mean?
TV shows aren't real, bro, but they're
I
fun.
right.
Watch spy TV shows.
Yes, the Avengers, Mission Impossible, stuff like that. If you were playing a game
Taco
like
Bell
that,
commercials.
if you were playing a game like that, but set in a sci-fi situation, the Q department would be like, okay, here's your, here's your,
Yeah.
whatever, recover, or even if not recover, like the things we gave to soldiers back in the day, the pet pills and stuff like, yes, man from Uncle, so that they could just ignore the fact that they're wounded. It's like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm bleeding.
adrenaline, right? You can like just be hopped up on adrenaline.
Amphetamines and things like that they gave them.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, either way, so that they can finish the job. Because I'm not really looking at it as player characters, wanting to keep playing. I'm thinking about it. What would the people in a situation like that? How would they try to ensure their mission is accomplished?
Yeah. For better living through chemistry and all that.
Because if you're in an let's just, for lack of a better word, in an adventure situation, whether you're a soldier, a spy,
Now,
a criminal.
here's the thing I would do if they were better living through chemistry. For every wound they took, I'd make them roll 1d4 to how many damage they get when the drug wears off.
Yes, that is actually a sign, sort of a like in Traveler. That's a thing. Uh,
Yeah,
they've got different combat drugs. Some will increase your endurance, your dexterity, your strength, or whatever, which in turn actually gives you more hit points. But when the drug wears off, you're jittery or shaky or in a coma. Yeah, I'm not saying there's no consequences or side effects or after effects, but governments or rich people or whoever's like the patron, the person hiring the other guys, they want the job to get done. And throughout history there are people sending other people off to do dangerous shit.
yeah,
Well, you either give them really good guns, lots of artillery, really good armor, or you make sure that if they do get hit, they can somehow deal with it. Just like, most combat squads have a medic.
yeah,
Now, that medic isn't going to give them any hit points back. All it does is make sure they don't die.
yeah.
Right? Well,
Outland is a really good movie. We've covered it on the show before.
yeah, you know what?
Um,
I've been meaning to add that one to my library. I keep forgetting about it because I've only seen it once and I can't
ooh,
really remember that much about it. As
we
a matter of
used
fact,
to have it on VHS. It was on the regular rotation here.
really, I
Uh,
remember I watched it one time with my old man, and that was on TV actually, not in the theater. Because Sean Connery was in. He's like, "Oh, okay, let's watch this." It's like, "Oh, this is sci-fi crap," But I just never had the opportunity to, see it
well,
like TV or something.
I highly recommend you get Jackie to go to the old torrents and say R80 and find a copy of it if it's not on any streaming service you have.
Mhm. So,
Uh,
so I mean, what would you prefer? Uh, if you were running a sci-fi game, better armor or some healing?
well, it depends on the type of game you're running. If
Well,
it's
if it's
if
like
you're running a scenario like Outland, you don't get either of them.
right, right. In
But
which case, it's the fastest gun is the survivor.
yeah, well, the most cunning player.
Hmm.
Um,
Which is uh,
which
very
he
attractive.
got jacked at the end of that movie, if I remember correct.
Right. It's a very attractive prospect, but does it hold up game after game after game? I know you don't like to run really long campaigny sort of situations, and if you're going to box it into a one shot movie thing, then that's all you need. But
Yeah.
most players prefer a campaign, which
Well,
means
I don't have a problem with a campaign. I just don't like. I don't
a campaign
like
for the sake of a campaign.
yeah. It's gotta go somewhere and end somewhere, and then if we want to return to that world later, okay. But
Mhm.
don't and then like a
Yeah,
lot of games are that fucking sequence from Dude, Where's My Car?
never saw that, but I get what you're hinting at. But you got to understand
Okay.
with the group of gamers, the average group of gamers, they do want that, and then they don't want to give up the ghost on their character that they've you know invested so much into. They want to keep going because they know because they've succeeded this far, they're more likely to continue to succeed than starting over, and they just don't want to take that chance, which wasn't the way we used to. Uh,
Okay, I'm sharing the scene with you. Once you pull it up, I'll hit
where
play.
is it?
It's in the sidebar. It's in with the people.
Okay, because it only shows. Okay, it only showed two, and I was expecting a three.
Yeah, yeah, because it's a present, not a. Is it up? Okay, yeah.
Hey, Kels, let me order. Yeah, I'd like to place an order.
What you like?
Yeah, I'd like 3 orders of garlic chicken,
And then,
and then 3 orders of white rice,
and then.
and then. Oh, hey, you guys want soup? Sure. Yeah, 3 orders of wonton soup.
And then,
Oh, some fortune cookies too.
then,
Gosh, I think that's about it.
and then,
No, that's it.
and then,
No, and then that's all I want.
and then,
Then nothing else because I'm done ordering. Okay.
and then,
No. See, all I want is the 3 orders of the garlic chicken and the 3 orders of the white rice.
and then,
And the soup, dude. Oh, and the wonton soup.
and then,
And the cookies fortune. Hey, and the fortune cookies. Yeah. So it's just the chicken, the rice, the soup, and the fortune cookies, and that's it.
and then,
And then you can put it in a brown paper bag and come put it in my hand because I'm ready to eat.
and then,
I refuse to play your Chinese food mind games.
Your D&D campaign.
No and then. No and then. No and then. No and then. No and then.
and then,
No and then.
I think we get it.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
A lot of games are like that. A lot of games are
Absolutely.
fucking like that.
absolutely. And like I said, a lot of players
I
just
remember that scene being faster.
a lot of players just don't care.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's because a lot of players don't play characters. They play dice roll.
well, they I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think there's some other things going on. Maybe in their head, they're playing a character, role playing, whatever. It just doesn't come across to a viewer. An outside viewer, they're not getting it. Because who knows what's going on in each and every individual player's mind. I played with some great people who just were, really, very much a wallflower, but they were having a blast. But we couldn't tell.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it just takes
Well,
some time to
Yeah.
break out of that shell. But for me, I don't want it to be like those shows, especially like an anime with like the guys in the big freaking robot suits. Take your choice, your pick.
Yeah.
It's the armor is literally the plot armor, and they're never going to get hurt until they're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't think you've ever watched Full Metal Panic. Then
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
you should watch Full Metal Panic.
But I've watched, Robotech and Gundam and some other things like that, to where it's all about the suit, and no matter how the suit may be falling off them, but they walk out, and they may fall down, but they're not. It's not because they're dead. They're just they've been contused a bunch, and they're beat up and bruised and that sort of thing. And next scene, they're in a hospital bed, or they're ready for the next day, kind of thing. I'd rather have not even going to use the word realism, but an explanation that makes sense as to why you're moving on, instead of having those constant hospital stays. Or
Yeah.
it's just
Well, it
It makes
depends.
sense.
If your players are getting fucking injured every 20 minutes, maybe they should start thinking a little more.
Oh, absolutely.
Then you're gonna have to wing it for a minute. My small bladder is being small this week.
No worries. I'm actually gonna take a trip downstairs, because it's that time again. But I would rather see the equivalent of a high tech, even if it's just a cure light wounds, hypo spray, some sort of, however you want to explain it, but just to keep the game moving along, as opposed to, because 2 players are out, they're like, oh, well, fine, next time you go first, kind of thing. No, I want you guys to be big damn heroes, and, because it's funny, because in some games, that I played in, just a simple act of wrapping a bandage around the wound will somehow give them, one or two to a D3 or 4 hit points back. And that's not how that works. But that's the game mechanic to keep the game rolling and keeping everybody, you know, engaged. Otherwise, you end up with situations where, there's piles of player characters laying in the hallway, just bleeding and waiting for everybody else to do the cool stuff, and then they'll drag their wounded friends out of the situation. If you think about like some of your first through, let's say, fifth, seventh level D&D type of games, with the numbers of cure light wounds that are just psh, 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 handed out like freaking donuts. It's ridiculous. And and as you can ask Justin, I don't put a lot of cure or heal potions out there because that's me babysitting. I think if you guys get to a point and you're all out of cure light wounds, you got no heal spells or anything like that, and you continue forward into the danger zone, you knew the job and the dangers were out there. But as opposed to having everybody constantly just going back and forth to the sick bay or something like that, for the sake of a more interesting, more exciting game and experience, a little, because I'm not the kind of person who would want you to have you just freaking a refrigerator full of light wounds, you you take out like the Tic Tacs. There should be some regulatory thing to keep it from being just okay, fine. You guys are never going to die because you're always carrying 40 heal spells in. That's boring
Yeah.
too. That's
Yeah.
retarded. But I've seen it done. I've seen players in games because there's a magic shop and the DM's got no problem with it. They go on the adventure and they're carrying like 20, 30 extra heal potions. I'm like, what? Oh, don't worry, we got bags of holding. What? You know what I mean? No, that's you're turning it into just a video game where you just got inventories full of crap and no reason how you could possibly carry it, and
Mhm.
you just well, we got every time we get 50 gold, we're buying another potion, cha-ching, cha-ching. I hate that kind of.
It's a slot machine mentality. A lot of people don't understand supply and demand outside of an industrialized era,
Mhm.
and trying to explain it to a lot of people, you get a brick wall of stupidity just because people aren't trained to think anymore.
Nope, nope.
Um, it's like somebody has to make that, and it's not somebody has to turn a machine to make that. No, somebody has to make that by hand. There's no other way. Um, where that's the opposite in a sci-fi setting, unless it's an apocalyptic one. Um, but still, if you're on a ship, maybe your relativistic or FTL drives are busted, and you're slow boating around. That's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons why during the shared universe Western sci-fi thing, I suggested that because it opens up there being places with limited resources, which are a requirement for a Western setting. Uh, you don't get that vibe. You don't get that vibe in a sci-fi setting if supplies are just Amazon request
Unlimited.
away. Yeah, things have to be at the end of a long supply chain that is not moving fast for you to have that frontier feeling. It's why Mr. Max jokes that he hates trains.
Hates what?
because trains because they ended the having to scrabble for your living mentality of the frontier in Western society, the near lawlessness, right? Because when trains started to break out the West, civilization came with them, right?
Yeah, but I think I don't know. I get where he comes from, but at
Yeah,
the same
he's
time,
also being ironic about it. So
right? I don't think that I would want to arbitrarily stagnate society and innovation for the sake of living that way.
not intentionally, no, but if you want the drama and the flavor that you are asking for, you have to not allow the core systems in our setting to be
Right there at your
r-
beck and call.
right there at your beck and call, because they weren't there in Firefly either.
Nope.
They were a rare fucking thing, and it spooked the fuck out of Mel and his crew when they showed up. They were more afraid of the core ships than they were the Reavers for the most part, right? So, uh, and hopefully we're not as cheesy going through that
No,
than
I've got a pretty good
than
sense of,
than
of
Will Wheaton ginger fat version was. Joss Whedon. He's the fat and ginger version of Will Wheaton, as far as I'm
yeah,
concerned.
I was trying to like what?
That, and I also forgot Joss Whedon's name, and
Okay,
Will
okay.
Wheaton's the one that came to
Yeah,
mind.
to me, that's always going to be his masterpiece. And
I actually liked Buffy, but
yeah, I never watched it, so I can't speak to that. But despite the person, he did something amazing. Uh,
I'll be honest with you. Like when I was a kid, the movie was on Fox all the fucking time, and we always had to watch it because like every time we were somewhere and we were watching TV, that fucking movie would be on.
so it was your version of Beastmaster.
Yeah, but I actually liked it, and you don't like Beastmaster.
No, I love
Uh,
Beastmaster. What are you talking about?
okay. Well, I liked it because I thought it was fun. I like Beastmaster too. I actually like the
I
Buffy
did see
movie more.
the Buffy movie once or twice. I didn't have any problem with it at all. Um,
It's a well put together movie. And when they made the hey, we're making a TV show based on that movie from like 5 years ago or whatever, or a decade ago.
no,
Uh,
it was at the very least. I remember thinking about it. Just the title alone was like, oh my god, this sounds hysterical. You
and
know
it
what I mean?
was fucking hilarious.
It's
But
just
it
so.
wasn't campy about its humor. It was just funny enough while staying true to the premise. You know,
Yeah, it kind of
like
also.
Beastmaster was campy as fuck.
I think that the heroes save the cheerleader, save the world was stealing a lot from it or borrowing from it. Let's say
Yeah,
that whole premise of, you know, the ridiculous, but at the same time, it somehow makes sense. Despite its weird, you know, juxtaposition of situations. You would expect it to be, the chosen one's going to be someone worthy of it, not someone that you wouldn't ever suspect being the chosen one, like Frodo, for example. The
yeah.
most unlikeliest of person happens to be the chosen one.
The wingman.
So to sum it up for me, I would rather have a little bit of, you know, super science healing for, combat situations than relying on other things like inaccuracy of stormtroopers and too much armor to make anything even a threat. It's just like you just walk through everything because you're armored, in the super Iron Man suit, and then you just killed the game because there's no sense of real danger. I mean, watching the Iron Man movie, I love that movie, but there was a point I'm like, okay, so he's pretty much invulnerable to freaking everything except himself.
Yeah,
That sucked. You know what I mean? I was a huge Iron Man fan, always will be, but it's like, yeah, I would rather see more scenes of the suit falling off, because it's been
getting
damaged.
fucked. Yeah. Um,
One
I
of the
think there was some of that later on, but
one of the reasons why I liked Star Trek Enterprise is because they got it. It's like, yeah, they're going to take some shit, they're going to limp away, but the audience is going to be back next week.
yeah. Still, I'll be honest with you. You know what killed that show? Uh, 90% of the time, people turn it on and they get America's Next Top Model instead of Enterprise. It played that, and it's like syndication laws had changed or something, or because they weren't playing reruns of the show or during the season, or other Star Trek shows during that time slot. It's like
Mhm.
no,
Or reality TV bullshit.
yeah, it was America's Next Top Model was specifically the show that would be on,
See, I
and
didn't even know Enterprise was a thing until way later, like Firefly.
yeah,
So I didn't get to see it as it aired the first time, like Babylon 5 and
yeah,
Star Trek Next Generation, which was okay for the idea of, oh, I get to binge watch this whole series. Okay, awesome. But
hmm
there was something to be said about back in the day when the first airing of that episode would be on, and everybody be watching it across the country, or at least your friends in different parts of the neighborhood or town or country, and you could kind of be there together but not together, but still like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next, kind of thing, as opposed to what's going to happen next. So click continue. And just like Netflix, okay, that
yeah,
episode's over. Okay, next one. You don't have that whole week of like talking about it
yeah.
around the water cooler. I miss that, and that's one of the
I,
things.
I'm indifferent to that. That there is a whole discussion about how that is killing like the memorability of television shows, but at the same time, the networks, the streaming services that make those shows cancel too quickly.
Mhm. I,
You
I remember
know,
when I
uh,
would be taking a bus every like week or whatever it was, a long bus ride, right, to get to and from a situation. And there was this one lady, this black lady. She was just, I knew what she was watching. I didn't know anything about it, right? And I still think about it whenever the new season of Blacklist comes on. She was just like, oh my God, just freaking in there, just like, loving this
uh,
show. And I'm like, I bet that show's pretty good. And sure enough, it was. But Netflix, killed the sort of, that whole week of anticipation, which I thought was a big part. All the way back to the movie serials back in the day. When you'd go to the theater, you'd watch a serial, and you'd be like, especially in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, when you know there was very little to talk about, other than regular stuff. But the people that were inclined to do so had that one thing in common that they could talk about, that was a shared experience, even though they might have seen it at a different time, or you didn't even know they were in the theater, but then you'd be talking about it, especially imagine as kids, watching a really cool show like that, Flash Gordon or whatever. And then you got the whole week until you're going to go with the family to the theater and watch that, and the newsreels, etc. And
yeah,
the imagine
yeah,
the little kids all across the country playing Buck Rogers in their backyard with their friends, make believe, in between the next week, when they had the time to go and play.
one of the services was trying 3 episodes every week until the end of the series, which I think was a good compromise. I still prefer for a larger chunk, because I don't know. I'm at the point in my life where when I want to watch something, I wait until it's done and then watch it. You
Uh,
know,
yes and no. If it's something that's like a longer thing, yeah, I don't
yeah,
mind missing the whole, like Criminal Minds or something like that. I'll just watch the whole year later when I got the time. But for us,
yeah.
this family, when Stranger Things came out, we were all there. You know,
Well, that all dropped at the same time, though.
no, but
Like
we
each
would.
season dropped it until the last two. They broke that up.
Okay, I just remember
Oh,
that we were like highly anticipating it, and I know
yeah.
it's not everybody's cup of tea, but
I
you know,
liked it. I liked it. It was okay.
we had a 12 to 14-year-old kid who's this was like a brand new experience kind of thing. His mom, who had no idea about anything, she's just okay, cool, we're watching something together as a family. Oh, hey, wait, this is actually way different than anything she'd ever watched before on Spanish television, and she could understand what was going on, and for the most part, and then me like, okay, cool, my boys, watching something that is talking about D&D and talking about the kind of stuff my friends and I got involved in after school, shenanigans. Obviously, we weren't messing around with the upside down or anything like that, but we had our own little adventures as kids, and kids these days, they don't got any of that. They go to school, come home, watch TV, YouTube, dinner, homework, to bed, repeat. There
Yeah,
is no time for them to go out and play. Not even at school at recess. They're too busy, gossiping, as opposed to being on the monkey bars pretending they're playing Planet of the Apes like we did. We had that kind
yeah,
of role playing, or I should say LARPing, you know, uh, in real time as a real experience, not even knowing that we were doing anything wrong or that there was something better. That's just what we gravitated toward doing, which was pretending and role playing that I was so and
mm,
so, and my friend Ricky was Brant or whatever, uh, just
yeah.
doing those kinds of things that are now just lost. It's
I
lost.
don't think it's as lost as you might think.
It,
Um,
no,
there's just like they say more distractions than there were.
right. Yeah, I can see it actually being more of a thing in other countries, but here in the States, or at least here in California, there's no time for any of that. That's why
Mm,
uh, my
uh,
son's friends do play D&D, because that's like the closest thing they're going to get to the experiences we had. Even just my son and I riding his bike to and from school, we'd have little mini adventures every day. Oh, look, there's a
mm,
rabbit. Nobody else saw a rabbit today. Oh, look, there's a lizard or a snake. Nobody else saw that. We did. Back in the
mhm.
day, we saw that crap every day. It was
All
no
the
big deal,
time.
or just even riding a
Yeah.
bike, jumping off curves and just doing silly stuff that those kids are never ever gonna, you know, uh, know what that was like. They're just never gonna experience that sense of freedom and you know, adventure and excitement that the rest of these kids, it's one of the reasons why there's, so many of the recent generations are just, you know, not as tough as we were. We,
Uh,
all kinds.
yeah. The broccoli tops are a weak fucking people.
The you
Uh,
know uh just simple, you know like using a broom handle and a trash can lid to sword fight. They've never done that. you know just the simple pleasures like that, or walking around with a slingshot, and not everybody thinking you're a vandal, you know what I mean, or you're gonna just break windows and stuff.
oh, you never broke windows with the slingshot?
I'm
What kind
not
of
saying
loser?
that we didn't. To be honest, we tried, and more often than not, it didn't work. Um, we just couldn't get the strength behind the thing, and the glass was, whatever. But hitting rocks, bottles and cans, and you just
Mm.
doing goofy shit like that. That they're never gonna be, just shaking their head, huh? They never know how to do any of that stuff. I was teaching Jackie how to identify tracks every day, because we'd go through the bike path, and there'd be rabbit tracks, lizard tracks, roadrunner tracks, dogs, coyotes, all these different tracks, and we would, what do you think that is? Oh,
Mhm.
and not one other kid out of the 900 he went to school with during that period would be able to do the same thing and go, hey, that's a rabbit, that's a lizard, that's a dog. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
that's a really big dog. Think about it. You're out, in the woods somewhere, and you're starting to see the tracks of, big dogs. They're probably not friendly. You know what I mean? And depending on the age of the track, you might be like, it's time to go back to camp.
Yeah, because if there's a big dog in the woods, it's probably not one who's living in a house.
Yeah. It could be a
Uh,
wolf. It could be a wild dog.
yeah.
It could be a werewolf. I don't know. And by the way, I don't know if you can see all this orange behind me. We've got a forest, not a forest fire, a brush fire on the other side of the mountain. I can literally see ash coming down in my yard. So
Oh,
it's that
but
season.
you're not pointing the camera at it. I want to see fire.
Can you see all that? I
I,
don't know. You
I
probably
can
can't.
only see yellow through the trees, man.
Yeah. Well, uh, trust me, there's ash coming down in my yard,
Oh,
and we could smell it earlier. And
it's not ash, it's hash.
yeah, I don't think that stuff would float. Stuff's a lot heavier, but yeah,
It's coming down, man.
yeah, it's literally like some people get hurricanes and snow. We get brush fires, and trust me, I'd much rather deal with a hurricane or something like or snow than brush fires because
No.
yeah.
You've never had your living room melt because it was above zero.
No. But I did lose a collection of 40 plus Warhammer 40K tanks in a garage fire. So I sympathize with anybody who's been through that sort of thing. But yeah, it's interesting to say the least.
Oh,
But
wait,
it's always
that's in metric temperatures, whatever that is. Not your weird old school freaking.
Fahrenheit.
It's 1839. I can't learn how to tell the temperature in the new method yet.
No,
System.
I may not know the temperature, but I do know liquid measurement and grams and kilograms and things like that, and kilometers. We're getting there, but we've got a ways. So now that I got the healing part, the next aspect I was thinking about was prevention.
Prevention? Well, that's next week's top. Well, the week after's topic. But what are we doing next week?
After prevention was, I think I had.
You need to start going to Isaac's YouTube channel and stealing ideas.
That's not a horrible idea, to be honest. And Isaac, if I do, I will give you credit.
No, you don't need to do that. You need to file the serial numbers off so nobody knows.
Right. You go back through his catalog.
Stuff from like his first year on YouTube, which was like a decade ago.
Sorry, I didn't see these comments. I thought Firefly explained the variable medical care well. Core and government, good medical, and outlying worlds or stations, not so great. Also, unique illnesses for every terraformed world. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to. Because their process was not perfect. Obviously, bags of holding, ... I prefer the bag of devouring. Who doesn't? At least as a dungeon master. Yeah, dodgy supply chains a must. It's the only good show of his I thought was any good. I think the Beastmaster hooked up with his cousin. Yeah, I think so too. But that's a topic for another show. The movie was fun. The TV show serious. I liked the movie the best. Buffy was a good laugh. The problem with Joss Whedon's dialogue is this. Think of your favorite line. Now ask yourself if there's a single character you couldn't picture saying it. Yeah, that one line Kaylee said about betwixt her nethers. Just saying that. If I heard Jane saying that, it would change the whole show. Just saying.
All I'm just saying is River's mine.
You can have her. Um, she's just I don't know. She's just kind of not unattractive, just like odd looking. I think I would say,
Yeah, I get that.
which is fine. I mean, uh, but I admit, Time Wars got old. Doctor Who meets Star Trek. I never saw that. Enterprise had Rod Stewart's song as its theme. I got Faith. I didn't hate it. A lot of people did. I kind of liked it. It
Yeah,
was kind of a like a refreshing, change to
yeah,
really hammer home how different the show was going to be. Just like with the opening for Firefly, that song, I could see a lot of people going, "What the hell is this shit? This is too sappy." But I'm like, no. Then you
yeah.
watch the show and you're just like, "Oh my god, I almost want to cry now." You know what I mean?
You
It
can't
was like,
take the sky from me.
yep, yep. Now,
Yeah,
giving background to all the old Trek races, I was into that. Yeah, fleshing out the Andorians. Vulcans was cool. Andorians rocked. I loved them. Even as a player of Starfleet Battles, I
yeah.
got schooled by a friend of my dad's who taught me the game. Uh,
Was
eh,
that the card game?
no, no, no. It was the miniature Starship
Oh
combat.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, the one with the they were made out of lead, so the nacelles would just fucking fall apart.
It's some were like plastic as well. Planet of the Apes was classic, absolutely. Yeah, we all grew up like Dennis the Menace, right, guys? And it wasn't that we were a menace. We were just, just doing the things that kind of just came natural to kids, just trying to find,
Yeah,
you know, entertainment out of the simplest of things. That's how the skateboard was invented. Someone had one skate, and how am I going to make this work? You take a screwdriver and a piece of wood, boom, multi-billion-dollar invention that is still around today. But skates, not so much. And if you think about it, it should be the other way around. Skates, you would think would have been like something that just should have stuck with us, like those shoes with the wheels in them.
Heelys still exist.
Right, but I mean, I worked several jobs that I wish, and I would have paid good money to have a pair of those. Working in a warehouse or something like that to get around, faster instead of having to literally jog through a warehouse or something to get from point A to point B.
They're actually better now. Originally, you had to have the wheels and you click them in, but now they have a little thing on the heel that you tap with your foot, and it causes the wheel to pop out, and then you just push the wheel back in
And think about
with
that
your
in like
toe.
a sci-fi situation. Imagine an entire society that everybody wears something like that. You know what I mean?
I don't think it'd be practical,
I know it
but
wouldn't be,
I've been looking at a pair.
but not. But imagine if they just tried to make it practical, anyways. You know what I mean? That would be hysterical. That would just that one little
The,
tiny
the
little
whole
thing.
society is based around the Healy being a normal foot thing.
Just and especially if you think
No
about it,
stairs,
you
all
know, like
ramps.
like uh, how a little bit more physically fit everybody would be, but also how much more efficient and fast paced everything would be. You know, uh, it could be fun, right? But
It could be
back to
fun.
uh, prevention.
how much more common neck injuries and broken collarbones are.
Maybe not if everybody even wore the helmets, to work. Instead of
Mm.
everybody driving in a car by themselves. You had groups of people that instead of
This is how you
carpool.
know Shadows from California.
Maybe so, but I mean, think about it, how amusing it would be to have your players come to a world, and they just see people zipping by, and funnier still is you've got like a whole bunch of people, carpooling to work, but they're all whoosh, 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 like from rollerball, doing the that skating in thing, That would be freaking hysterical. You know what I mean? Come on. Tell me that would be funny. A bunch of dudes and
Oh,
women in business suits and ties with their briefcase all psh, 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 psh. I'm telling you, that would be funny. Um, just saying.
Shadow, no. Bad Shadow, bad.
It's funny. I'm not saying
Yes, yes, it
practical
is.
or anything other than just good old fashioned goofy humor, right? And
This is why he directs gay porn and not movies.
yeah, you should. Sometimes you just gotta, just embrace this stupid silliness of our existence. There are dumber
Oh,
things out there. Like
yes,
okay,
there are. Like
the
memes
crazy
that say that
straw,
you're.
the crazy straw. Who the fuck cares? You remember those?
You don't like the crazy straw,
It was it. What did it do?
Ben?
No, I mean, what was its function? Function was to get your liquid to your gullet in the slowest way
At an angle.
possible while still using a straw. All it did was delay the thing. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Well, not by much. I mean, we're talking nanoseconds. But that ooh,
But
it's going
Ben,
around. I mean, how dumb are we that we're amused that our liquid is going on a roller coaster ride as it gets to us?
it's fun.
I know. Okay, see,
This
it's
is what you get when you live in a world with only Healy peoples. You're the depressed guy that doesn't like the fucking crazy straw.
and it's not that I don't like it. I just think it's just.
Walk away from the suicide booth, Shadow. Walk away from the.
I was telling Raven about that's the first story in the King in Yellow, trying to explain, how the book is supposed to make you crazy. And I've listened to it and read it several times, and clearly I'm,
Raven is interested in freaking books written by Anne Rice.
now thanks to you, the pet
Yeah,
rock,
well.
right, Doc? I mean, how dumb?
Hey! Leave my pet rock alone.
Do you have one?
No, I
No.
used to.
I did too. But I mean, think about it. That guy made, a cool $1 million off a cardboard box.
It had a rock in that.
I know, but it was the box that if you take a rock and go, that's my pet rock, and they're like, where's the box, right? See, this is what
Well,
happens when we don't get other
that's
people to join us.
yeah. Well, I told other people to jump in.
I know.
I
We
said
just
to Doc when he showed up, get in here.
yeah.
He never
I said
showed up.
something to George, Grandma. She's just here, laughing at us, goofballs. It had a little manual in it. That's right. Care and feeding of your pet rock. You washed it off and you
Sit
fed
it
it
by the
and cleaned
window.
it and bathed it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Or watered it, bathing.
I knew a guy that had a rock that was this shape
Like a hand.
specifically. One pointing.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Until it breaks.
It broke.
Hope he took lots of pictures.
It was a really cool fucking rock. He used to pick it up and point it at people. And wave it like he's. Oh.
So let's talk about the prevention a little while, then we'll call it a night. Um, I talked a little bit about armor and protective clothing and that sort of thing as one way of protection. But if you think about it, you could also have. It's okay, Doc. We're just trying to guilt people into showing up. I never understood why the Burple never lasted. I don't know what that was. What was Burple?
Well, let's Google search it.
But like the tuxedo movie with Jackie Chan, having
Yeah.
smart clothes that could, also, if you think about it, combination that and the still suit as a form of protection, armor and protective clothing and things like that to keep people, from succumbing to injuries, quicker, and thus, grinding the game session to a halt for healing purposes. Again, too much just makes it just a walk. You just walk through everything because you're overly protected. Uh, yeah, I don't think that's going to be the way to go. I know definitely if I run a sci-fi game, uh, you know, I don't want them to automatically just walk. Like the Glitter Boys in Palladium, they walk
Mhm.
into first level, a freaking just towering death machine. Sure,
Yeah.
the suit, they're vulnerable. You know what? But when it comes to doing the I'm going to say 75% of the adventure ideas, they're just going to walk through it. They're not going to take a point, not a
Mhm.
scratch. They're just going to walk through it. That's cool for a story or a cartoon, but for a game, they need to be taking damage of some sort, whether it's psychic damage or physical damage, to either whittle them down and make them realize that, hey, you're playing for keeps here. One false move and it's curtains.
Yeah, I get that. Yes, the Elysium medical bed was cool. Um, it just kind of looked like a MRI, but it did all kinds of cool shit, right?
Kind of like the beds, or not the beds, but uh, the the face surgery thing in Logan's Run,
I don't remember that.
where you could with the scene with Farrah Fawcett, Logan goes in looking at getting a new face because they could just with
I
lasers.
I do not remember.
Okay.
I'll
Uh,
take your word on it.
Yeah, it was interesting and creepy and frightening all at the same time because the doctor found out that he was a wanted person and was going to just cut him to ribbons and get the reward kind of thing. Once he
Mhm.
got him in the chair. So what is the Burple?
I never could find it. It's a
Oh, he's a
dragon.
Burple was a drink mix like Kool-Aid that came with a cool expandable mug. It was an '80s kid thing. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
remember that.
I just saw an animated
Put a
dragon.
crazy straw in a Burple, and you were the coolest kid on the playground. Okay. I could see that
Okay.
trendy, goofy little crap from way back when. Now, the other aspect of prevention would be medical technology that obviously vaccines and implants and things that would keep you from getting sick, or maybe even things built into you that would help you heal because you got an increased this white
Yeah,
blood
yeah.
cell,
The old nanobot repair module or whatever.
or even not even you don't even have to go that high a tech. There might be other things that release just chemicals, or you are constantly fed chemicals or concoctions or whatever to keep you working at a better rate, or that button you push on your arm to get that adrenaline boost, or that other button you push on your arm to time to go to sleep. you
Yeah,
know
yeah, yeah. Well, fuck. I think I pressed that button.
eh, you
Um,
know, or built-in things that keep you from getting sick or getting poisoned, or being able to
yeah.
withstand radiation or
The
all
whole
kinds.
medical treatment. I don't know about radiation. Radiation seems like
You know what I mean, or poison gas, or
a
you know
poison gas
y-
is
not
like a
quite
lung filter or
like
whatever.
cybernetic implants, but maybe other little things, or maybe partial cybernetic implants.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Cyborg. All cybernetic. We're gonna cut off your perfectly good arms there, Shadow, and replace them with robot arms that have multi-second delays. Just a
Built-in can opener, Swiss Army fingers.
I got a built-in can opener right here.
I had to buy a new one recently because the one I had was just ass. After a while, you would think something like that would just like kind of work forever, but no,
Yeah.
no. But the only problem with nanites is once you, because I experienced this many times, especially with the Gamma World book that I reviewed last week. nanites end up being like this almost form of magic that they can just do anything, or everything. And at which point, if you're not a master
Mm.
of them, you become subjugated by them in the game. It's like running an all uh, like a super high magic game, and you just want to run the fighter, and you end up being like the second class citizen because you're just cannon fodder because everybody else is a super powerful magic user of this type or
Yeah.
that type, and you're just like,
I mentioned the movie Transcendence on Friday's show. Bubba said he watched it. You should watch it. You should watch it.
I've got one on my keychain, all of my keychains, Doc,
Hmm.
and it works. I've also got my Swiss Army knife here with me. Every time you see me in front of the camera, it's right here in my studio because I use that. I got this thing when I was like 26, and that's like 30 years of using it every freaking day. And it's seen better.
Whoa, 30 years. Try again, bro. You think fucking Swiss Army knife was around when you were 26? I don't think Switzerland was around when you were 26. No, I don't even mean like the country. I mean like the landmass.
Right. Right. Well, let's just go with that. I've used it every day for the past 30 years, and I don't know that I'd want it implanted in me, but with like nanites, there's just it's just like theoretical, almost magic. What you could do.
Well, it depends on the limit of the nanites. If we go with the super advanced, does everything nanites, yeah, but
Which would just be a matter of time once they're introduced. They would eventually, people would be like, okay, got to keep improving them until our planet is nothing but gray goop. So thanks.
well,
Did I buy it? No, I invented it.
mm,
Um, but on a lesser scale, little bits here, little bits there, that could be the route to go to get a lot done. I mean, if you think about it,
yeah,
especially like if you were going to run a game like where the party's a bunch of spies working for an organization, or they were even criminals who were getting their nanite injections on the black market, the things that they could do, that ordinary citizens couldn't do, their version of being the adventurer, if you will, versus the
yeah.
common. There's a lot of things you could do with them to not make them invulnerable and just walk through every situation, but give them that cool advantage.
Well, that would be good adventure hook too. Someone's taking people that have received nanite healing and reactivating the nanites as a mind control thing, or
Or creating an army of zombie like slave workers.
or
um,
just using them as random assassins.
Ooh, Manchurian
Yeah,
candidate, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Or part of an ever growing cult of something, or just a really really covert network of crime, and the criminals didn't even know they were criminals because the nanites are overriding their ability to
Think.
recognize what they're doing. They go to sleep. Next thing they know, they're going and sneaking out of the house and going doing jobs or whatever, and or sabotaging things in the factory. They don't even know they did it
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
you know, or they've got nanites in them that allow them to climb up the surface of a shear wall to break into a thing and steal the other thing and then hand the thing off to someone. And
And then, oh no, they're dead. You know,
yep, and
their
or
heart glued up.
or yeah, just someone takes control of the nanites of a particular person just so that they could control it and eliminate certain people, for
Hmm.
either just a one-off thing or some bigger chain reaction sort of thing when all the pieces and dominoes fall. So and so is left in the ultimate position. It was Swiss Army Man, weird as hell. Okay. Your grandma was cooking and listening. You needed to play Skate Wizard. You need to play Skate Wizards. Is it a real thing? Or are you just pulling my leg?
That's
I
probably
believe
real.
either at this point. Nothing would surprise
Yeah.
me. Um,
I'm probably gonna take off in about 10 minutes. I'm starting to nod off.
yeah, no worries. I said we were gonna call it at the top of the half hour, just make it a 2 hour.
I didn't hear that. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, no worries, dude. Yeah, I noticed you were kind of fading.
Yeah, sorry I've been low energy.
Well, you stayed up for like 4 or 5 days this week.
Yeah.
Send me a link there, Grandma. I would definitely take a look at it. I don't know that I'd pay for it, but you know,
Well,
I could
Pirates
see.
might try.
I could see that going in a number of different directions, especially, being a Californian and, growing up in the, not me personally, but around the skateboard culture back in the day. And not written by,
Calabunga, dude, you're fireballed.
right. Uh, I never got into that. It just seemed kind of like we had bikes. Bikes were faster and, less likelihood that you're going to fall off your bike. Being,
Yeah.
trying to impress, your friends. We would just jump a couple of trash cans on our bike instead of, trying to jump off a curb and not, eat shit when we landed on the blacktop. Not to mention a lot more maintenance for a skateboard than a bike.
Are there?
Oh yeah, a lot of well, not a lot of maintenance, but you did have to take care of the wheels, the trucks, the ball bearings, and all that shit. A lot of lubrication versus a bike. You leave it out in the rain and it's fine the next day. You do that with a skateboard, not so much. But,
Yeah.
so,
I
but
don't know.
next week we will be talking more medical technology because I've got some more things I'd like to talk about. And then, like I said, next week or the following
Quick
week
list. What's still on your queue?
for.
Med.
I left the list downstairs. Clones,
Okay, don't worry about them.
clones, and life extension, and something else. But genetic engineering, eugenics, that sort of thing. It's all medical.
Eugenics. Yeah.
At some point, it's going to be, the people are going to demand it, as opposed to, shun it. It's just it's inevitable in my opinion. But we can discuss that next week. I will be hanging out with this guy and Hungar Monday, hopefully morning, and a bunch of regular stuff throughout the week. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. I wish me luck that I don't, have my backyard catch on fire. We've got a lot of pine trees around here and a lot of empty fields.
I don't know about that. I'm kind of.
Thanks. I see how you are. What a pal.
We do a show at noon. Mondays it's on Hungar's channel, and on Wednesdays and Fridays it's on mine. That is noon Eastern Standard Time.
What was that? For me, it's 9 a.m.
Yeah,
EST.
for you it's 9.
Take care, Grandma. And yeah, no worries, Doc. Feel free to join and play along. If you've got any ideas, feel free to send me stuff in Discord during the week.
Yeah.
Because this month is almost over, and I think by the time we round up with the end of medical technology, we'll be doing.
This month's almost over. It's only half over.
Right, but after the medical discussion, we'll be like probably near the free for all Saturday, and not this week, but not this Thursday, but the following Thursday will be the book club and all the usual stuff we do here.
The free for all Saturday only exists so we don't have to come up with a topic.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, it was your idea, so
Yeah, because you couldn't come up with a topic and you still wanted to do a show.
every once in a while I do come up. I had a dry spell, but lately I've
Well,
had
you
some.
won't for a while because I just gave you the greatest idea. Rip off Isaac.
Yeah. Well, there's other folks I could rip off as well, but
Yeah, well,
that's highly recommended.
I'm pretty sure Isaac's ripped them off too. He does a lot of fucking stuff. That guy's got a lot of fucking videos, man.
He's been doing it for a good long time.
Yeah. And he's in depth on a lot of fucking things. Like, you could swear a whole bunch more referring to the quantity of material that guy's have. And it would not be enough.
Nope.
Oh,
Hey O'Neill, you got here just in time for us to say adios, good
goodbye.
night, farewell. You guys all have a great weekend. We love you. We'll see you real soon. And as
Party
always,
on.
happy trails.